Summer means happy times and good sunshine, as well as more time in the day to spend with friends as we have longer days and shorter nights. Be sure to make good use of your time though. Visit the beach, take a road trip, explore the island. But above all, remember to be safe. Welcome to Jamaica Magazine. I am Theodore Henry. Coming up in today's show, we're joined by the Canadian High Commissioner as we discuss relations between Jamaica and Canada. But first, a word from our friends at the Met Service.
Tropical Storm Hugo has been upgraded to a hurricane and is expected to impact Jamaica. A hurricane warning is now in effect.
Wait! Did you know there are a few steps that have to be taken before a hurricane advisory is issued? Once a tropical cyclone has formed in the Atlantic or the Caribbean, the Met Service monitors it and puts plans in place in the likelihood that the system will affect Jamaica.
Hugo, we required additional staffing, especially for this.
These include increasing the number of technical staff working at the National Meteorological Center and the number of upper air observations daily, and ensuring that the weather and technical equipment in the office are fully functional. They are in constant dialogue with the National Hurricane Center in the United States, which provides regular updates on the system. Once the Met Service does an assessment and determines that the system is a threat to Jamaica, the following will unfold.
Yes, Prime Minister Holness. Yes, Evan Thompson here from the Met Service. I'm really just calling to update you on the situation with Hurricane Hugo. It continues to move closer to the island, and so we believe that it will be necessary for us to move to that hurricane warning. So we're just making sure that we have your approval.
Then?
Hello, yes, Hurricane Specialist, please. Hi, how are you doing? Evan here again from Jamaica. Right, I've just spoken with the Prime Minister. He's in agreement that we go to the hurricane warning by 5 o'clock this evening. That's correct.
The National Hurricane Center publicizes this information internationally, and the Met Service prepares and sends bulletins to the local media. And that is how we get here.
A hurricane warning is now in effect for the island.
And as the country prepares for the weather system, the Met Service continues to play a critical role in the country's disaster readiness, providing information to the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management and the local government ministry. These entities use this information to determine which areas on the island should be evacuated and where shelters should be opened. That's not all. The Met Service also works closely with the Coast Guard to evacuate fishermen at sea, on the quays and banks before the storm hits. That is how the Met Service keeps Jamaicans in the know so that they can better prepare for any severe weather system.
The following is brought to you by Mocha, the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency with the kind support of NIA and USAID.
Criminal minds think they are cunning. The major organized crime and anti-corruption agency have them running. Your friend a shout, come here. Take time running, are we ready for the ops? Drive up on your block, step out now me block, cyber take about your laptop. Pull up every lock, no evidence a drop. We put it in a cuffs and now we have the under. Sin you say scam, you better look out fit. When you move corrupt, better look out fit. They say you get wet, look out fit. Look out fit, look out fit. From you say scam, you better look out fit. When you move corrupt, better look out fit. They say you get wet, look out fit. Look out fit, look out fit.
The proceeding was brought to you by Mocha, the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency with the kind support of NIA and USAID.
Canada is actively engaged with Jamaica on a broad range of issues, including the Seasonal Agricultural Workers Program, trade, and investment. Find out more next from Canadian High Commissioner Laurie Peters.
Welcome to Get the Facts, the program that provides you with information on government's policies and initiatives. I'm your host, Enthros Campbell. Jamaica and Canada have established bilateral relations since 1962. And for those 57 years, we have partnered in education, health, local government, justice reform, disaster preparedness and relief, as well as in agriculture. Now, today we speak with High Commissioner of Canada to Jamaica, Her Excellency Laurie Peters, fresh from Canada Day. Welcome to the program.
Thanks so much. It's a real pleasure to join you.
Good to have you. Tell me a little bit about the Canada Day celebrations.
Canada Day is an opportunity for us across the country in Canada, coast to coast to coast, and around the globe, to celebrate all that is the best of Canada. Yes. So every July 1st, it's somewhat of an unofficial start to our summer holidays as well. You'll find Canadians decked out in their red and white, and everywhere from backyard barbecues to major celebrations, for example, in our capital in Ottawa. It's also the end of a series of celebrations. We celebrate our Indigenous heritage on June 21st, our French-speaking heritage on the 24th, and our diversity through Multiculturalism Day as well.
Okay, it's somewhat like our Independence Day celebration.
It is, but each country, I think, has our own different vibe and flavor as well. Yes.
Definitely. Now, tell me a little bit about the Jamaica-Canada connections.
Well, as you mentioned, it's been a partnership on multiple fronts for the last 57 years of formal diplomatic relations, but surely you know that our friendship and relationship goes back much further than that, starting with commercial ties. Your ackee, our saltfish, or your rum, our saltfish. The financial sector as well started way, way back. The Bank of Nova Scotia is celebrating 130 years here in Jamaica. So long and strong and foundational relationship that I like to characterize as being very dynamic now, moving into sectors that who would have dreamt of 57 years ago.
And we'll talk about some of that. But recently you launched the Canada Fund for Local Initiatives. Tell us about that program.
Indeed, we have been working nation to nation on a number of fronts. This is where we really get to go local and work with communities and community organizations here in Jamaica. Every year, we put out a call for applications, as we did this July 1st, to look for local organizations, perhaps small organizations, that can have a big impact. We throw out some themes to be considered. This year, we're looking for organizations that are working in the areas of women and girls empowerment and equality. Also, anything related to climate change and mitigating the impacts of climate change. And also peace and security, and looking at violence prevention initiatives as well. Last year, we worked with some great organizations up in Portland, the Alligator Head Foundation that looked at Marine Conservancy, and we also worked with a group in Mandeville, the Young Women and Men of Purpose, that looked at training and entrepreneurship as well. So we're inviting any local organizations to head to our website and to look at the application details, and do send in your applications.
Right. Tell us about the website. Give us a website address.
It's jamaica.gc.ca.
Yes. And what specifically are you looking for? What would cause my proposal to get the thumbs up? Certainly
look at projects and initiatives that can be accomplished within the 1 year period. Look at right-sizing them with the funding amounts that are available. We typically fund 4 or 5 initiatives for the amount of about 25,000 Canadian dollars. And we're looking for alignment with those themes that I mentioned. So the policies that Canada puts forward, those are the themes that we're aligning with. Again, climate, equality, and also peace and security.
Yes, and organizations, not individuals.
It's typically organizations, not-for-profit organizations. Yes. We also have funded government agencies in the past as well, but all of the details are on the website at jamaica.gc.ca, and it's the Canada Fund for Local Initiatives.
Yes. Let us talk now a little bit more about some of the other things that you have worked with us on, for example, the justice system, security, national security. Tell us first about your work with our justice system.
Sure. Canada has been partnering with Jamaica for decades to assist Jamaica and partner with Jamaica to ensure that there is good access to the justice system, to look at timely justice and to make sure that we're addressing some of those bottlenecks in the court system, and looking at making sure that perhaps the most vulnerable are have the access to justice that they require as well. So we have been partnering, as I say, for decades, something like the JUST program, where we're looking at ensuring that there is legal aid assistance in the form of legal aid buses, for example, that we, along with the UNDP and the Ministry of Justice, have put forth to make sure that justice is coming to your community as well.
Excellent. And you've also partnered in technology.
That's right. So
yes.
Canada, perhaps when you think of Canada, you think of the work we've been doing in justice reform, or perhaps our seasonal agricultural workers program.
Yes.
But we're also known as a real hotbed for technology,
yes,
and
yes.
Jamaican commercial partners have certainly recognized that. We're known for our ICT sector, as they call it, and in fact Toronto just hosted North America's largest and growing ICT conferences called Collision, and where we saw 17 Jamaican companies and individuals participate and see what Canada, and in this case Toronto, has to offer. Our Ryerson University, for example, has the Digital Media Zone, and we were delighted that a Jamaican company was part of the program there. And so something that we're looking at, everything from cybersecurity through to e-learning, are all of the options that Canada is looking to partner with Jamaica on.
Right, and you're happy with how things are going in these areas, technology and security and justice. You're happy with the development so far?
Jamaica is an excellent partner in these areas. There's an appetite for it in terms of justice and defense, for example, and security. Jamaica has been an excellent trainee, and we have done a lot of train the trainer, and now you have gone on to also be able to train others here in the Caribbean and elsewhere as well.
So progressive partnership is so important to the development of our country and people. We take a break now. We come right back.
For over 40 years, the European Union and Jamaica have enjoyed a partnership built on shared values, trust and respect. Through a joint cooperation program, the EU is supporting Jamaica to achieve its development goals outlined in Vision 2030. Key areas of support include justice, financial reform, poverty reduction, health, human rights and democracy, environmental protection and agriculture. Jamaica and the European Union, promoting sustainable development and creating opportunities for all Jamaicans.
Welcome back to Get the Facts. We continue our discussion with High Commissioner of Canada to Jamaica, Her Excellency Laurie Peters. In this segment, we look at cooperation in the areas of disaster support and immigration and so much more. Let us start with your cooperation with us as it relates to disaster preparedness. Tell us about that partnership.
It is hurricane season, as you know, and this is an area that Canada is looking closely at with Jamaica and with the region writ large, actually. Before the break, we talked about technology.
Yes.
Green and clean technology are also part of the partnership with Jamaica. We are looking with you at climate infrastructure, if you will, how to make sure that you're not only building back better after a disaster, but what preventative, adaptive, and mitigation measures that you're taking as well. In very concrete terms, I arrived here in Jamaica right between Hurricanes Irma and Maria, and was able to see firsthand just how vulnerable that Jamaica is, along with other small island developing states. And Canada has stepped up big time to look at making sure that we're funding you and also supporting you in how to weather the storm, if you will. And that includes standing up an operational support hub, the OSH.
Right.
Our military, who have been working here for years, have looked at a key location for an operational support hub, which is basically a camp in a box. And we set it up and have it at the ready right near the airport, Norman Manley International Airport, so that should a hurricane hit the region, within a couple of days, we can set up and be that support hub, not only to Jamaica, but to the Latin America and the Caribbean region writ large.
Excellent, excellent. So, so you're ready now for this hurricane season, which is on. I mean, we're not having much rains, but
no, we are ready. In earlier this year in May, we actually upgraded the communication system, the electrical as well, to make sure that we are at the ready should the region be hit.
Yes. Let us talk a little bit about your cooperation with Jamaica, your cooperation in security. Tell us about that.
Canada has been one of Jamaica's longest-standing security partners. We work very closely, especially with the US and the UK, and also with the EU, to make sure that we are doing our part in terms of border and citizen security as well. Our Royal Canadian Mounted Police have been here for decades. Our Border Services Agency works hand in hand with the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, as well as our military working with the JDF here. To ensure that we are helping you with surveillance, but also helping to ensure that we are getting the bad guys, if you will, but also working with your fine agencies such as the Mocha, the Major Organized Crime and Corruption Agency as well, to make sure that we're stemming the tide.
So tell us, why is that so important to Canada?
Well, it's important for Jamaica, it's important for the region, it's important for our investors to make sure that they have a safe environment in which to work. For our tourists, you know, there are over 400,000 Canadians who flock to the beautiful shores of Jamaica every year. But it's also just in terms of the safety and security of the region and making sure that our borders are safe as well.
Absolutely.
So it's important to partner with Jamaica to ensure that, that crime is stemmed and it's a peaceful region.
Right. Your Excellency, you know we can't talk to you and not talk about immigration.
Sure.
Yes? So the whole issue of biometrics, which really took effect last year, tell us about how that is going and who needs to do it. And I know there's been some changes as in with the frequency of offering this biometrics.
Sure. Yes. Well, as you know, there is indeed so much travel and exchange between Jamaica and Canada. There are more than 300,000 members of the diaspora. So Jamaicans wanting to visit family and friends. There are anywhere from 3,000 to 3,500 students who are in Canada, and there are the thousands, 9,000 plus seasonal farm workers. And so to ensure that we've got efficient and effective flow of all of these areas of migration, Canada rolled out in 2018 a global collection of biometrics. Jamaica was already doing this, so the impact was little. If there was an impact, it was a positive one, in that previously Jamaicans had to have their biometrics collected every year, and now it's only once every 10 years. So it has a big impact, especially on those returning seasonal agricultural workers, which is about 80% of the 9,000 workers each year. Instead of giving and paying for their biometrics collection each year, it's once every 10 years. So it's actually a positive element of this global rollout of biometrics collection.
Right. Good, good, good. Now tell us about your partnership with us in education.
There are, I think, 36 MOUs, Memoranda of Understanding, between Canadian institutions and Jamaican institutions here, which allow for not only student exchange, but faculty and research exchange as well. We're looking forward to the rollout of a new MOU that will create an Institute of Canada-Caribbean Policy Research between University of West Indies and our Brock University just outside of Toronto. And each year we do have, as I say, about 3,500 Jamaican students who choose to continue their studies in Canada. Jamaicans are also, because you have such bright students here, they're often the recipients of some of the prestigious scholarships that we have. The Emerging Leaders of the Americas program and other scholarships are sought after by Jamaican students and often rewarded for their hard work.
Right. So that's one major scholarship program you term it, right?
It's one of the most popular, yes.
Are there any other?
There are a number of scholarship opportunities that individual universities and colleges offer to Jamaican students. And one of the perhaps most prestigious that Canada offers is the Lester B. Pearson Scholarship. Only 35 students globally are successful in getting that scholarship, and I'm delighted to say that the head boy at St. Jago High School was a successful recipient of this scholarship. So there are others, and if you anyone interested could head to our website at jamaica.gc.ca and find out some of the scholarship opportunities.
Okay. Now, before we wrap, is there anything else that you'd like to share with our viewers?
Well, I think that every once in a while it is a good reminder for us of just how dynamic the Jamaica-Canada relationship is. We maybe take each other for granted because we're such old friends, but there are new areas and sectors to explore, and I'm delighted that my team here at the Canadian High Commission have so many good contacts with civil society, with government, and with the regular people-to-people ties as well, to ensure that that relationship is going to be dynamic for the 57 years plus to come.
Thank you so very much, Your Excellency, to come and talk with us today on
pleasure.
Get the Facts.
My pleasure.
This has been Get the Facts with our guest, High Commissioner of Canada to Jamaica, Her Excellency Laurie Peters. To watch this program again, log on to our social media handle, YouTube.com/WatchJIS. You may also stay connected to our website, jis.gov.jm, for more information. Until next time, I'm Rose Campbell. Take good care.
Let's get a little breeze on this land. All right. Now let's get some bounce in the rhythm. All right. Let's get some fire on our hearts. Now that is what we call all right. Run, come, get some Jamaica.
Farming isn't just about digging a hole, planting a seed, and watering it. It involves many more considerations, like finding the right area with the right soil type for certain crops, ensuring you have water and a market for your produce to avoid a glut. Check this out.
To provide jobs for persons, it lets me feel like, I'm really contributing to the economy of the country. It's just a good feeling, and to produce the quality products, to compete with the international market, and to produce goods that actually look much better than imported goods, it's a good feeling for me.
Agro-Investment Corporation continues to scout for lands in Jamaica that are best suited for agricultural production through the National Land Agency and the Commission of Lands, and also with private enterprises. So wherever there is unused government lands or private lands, Agro-Investment Corporation will profile these lands.
So by now, we should all be aware of the benefits of leasing lands from the government. But once you've leased the land, how do you maximize returns? Well, knowing the soil type is important. For instance, did you know that over in the Ebony Park Spring Plain Agro Park, the soil type impacts the kinds of crops that can be planted there?
Ebony Park Agro Park is about 1,100 acres, and likewise the Spring Plain, and that's roughly all the lands within there. There are areas of non-arable areas, but there are arable areas. Arable areas amount on the Ebony Park side to about 800 acres. There's a lot of different soil types, predominantly Bonegate, clay loam. Basically anything can grow here. Once it requires a pH of about 6.5 to about 7. There are pockets where the pH might fall to about 5.5, 5.8. So if there's a crop that needs to be having a lower pH, soil could be amended to facilitate that. But basically anything will grow.
So let's revisit our checklist. We've applied and submitted all the necessary documentations, including proof of our capacity to invest in the land. We've learned about soil types and pH balances in the soil. What's next after you've been approved?
They would assign you a plot number, or they'd give you a designated area to where you'd be assigned. I guess you'd view it to see maybe what you'd need to do. If it needs a bit of clearing, you might want to look at that, how you go about doing that. You'll be advised as to the best way to get that done. You might want to go to the NIC because our water is pressurized. and so the NIC supplies it. So a part of your contract would give you the ability to go to NIC with tenure of land, and then they would then come and put your meter on so that you get ready supply for water. We also offer tractor services to plow, harrow, farrow, and other activities that you might want, rotovate and so on for your lands. So we'll be able to do that. Once you do that, we could tell you of maybe different cycles, crop cycles, where you might want to plant, best time for certain crop. You might be able to go out of these seasons, but at least we'll be able to tell you that this crop does well in a particular season. The risk might be higher in another season, but so might be the returns. So you could get advice as to that. So local advice will be there ready for you.
Meet Henry Givens, a youth farmer who is a beneficiary of this initiative. He started out acquiring just 5 acres of land, and today he is up to 15. Givens plants various crops at different stages, including Scotch bonnet pepper, sweet potato, and Maruga red watermelons, as well as slicing and plummy tomatoes.
Leasing land from the government, it is actually beneficial, and at the point where I would actually want to lease more if available. You know, I am not employed otherwise, so it allows me to take care of my 2 babies, and it allows me to eat and survive. So it is something very beneficial, I would say. Life here at Ebony Park, it's twofold. It's good sometimes and sometimes it's challenging. One, persons around, some persons, they know what to do with their crops, for example, and they don't want to do it. So sometimes, we have a lot of pest and disease outbreak, and some persons just don't want to invest the funds or do what is right to actually, make the agro park much better and a much cleaner environment. And then, also, sometimes there's a major issue with the whole irrigation system. It costs a lot sometimes, because even if you look into the pepper field, sun scalding is a result of a lack of water supply sometimes. But it's a blessing, and there is not only negative, because once you have irrigation, then without the irrigation, I couldn't do anything like this, none at all.
Farming can be an expensive venture, but it's also beneficial. As a youth farmer, the challenges may not even be financial.
Some older persons, because they're so, relatively young, they don't want to work with you because they said they don't want to work with a younger person. However, sometimes it's good to know that, for some persons that really can't afford to go into the farming as deep, that you can provide them with not only a job, but you can also assist them with technical advice to improve their smaller production that they do as well. My advice to younger farmers or investors is that they should not be discouraged or swayed from agriculture. It is something that can be beneficial, and it's a good way to make a good foundation for themselves and their families. So it's something that they should look into and be strong about it. That's the only way we can build our country.
The Electoral Commission of Jamaica, ECJ, has extended the validity of all voters' IDs. Yes, I said it. All voters' IDs are valid until December 31, 2019. Businesses are being asked to continue to accept voter ID cards as a valid form of identification. Don't worry, the ECJ will continue to process new and replacement ID cards until the new expiration date. For more information, call toll-free at 1-888-991-8683 or email eojinfo@eoj.com.jm. The Electoral Commission of Jamaica, committed to free and fair elections.
Thanks for watching another edition of Jamaica Magazine. Join us again tomorrow when we'll do this all over again. Send your feedback on today's show to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm. Also, follow us on our social media pages, that's Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Download our app on your Apple and Android devices, and you can also visit our website at jis.gov.jm for more information. On behalf of the entire production crew, I am Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.